Welcome to Lifelong Echoes, an English learning series where language becomes more than words, where every sentence carries history and every story carries heart. In today's story, we meet a girl who grew up in the deep American South, who was abandoned, abused, and silenced by trauma. For 5 years, she did not speak a word, but from that silence grew a voice the world would never forget. She would write books, poems, speeches, and speak at the inauguration of a president. Her name is Maya Angelou, and her life was not easy, but it was true, and it was beautiful. Let's begin. She was born as Marguerite Annie Johnson on April 4th, 1928, in St. Louis, Missouri. Her early childhood was shaped by change. When her parents separated, Maya and her older brother Bailey were sent by train to live with their grandmother in a small town called Stamps, Arkansas. They were very young, just toddlers. The journey was long. They traveled alone, with name tags pinned to their clothes, so the train conductor would know where to take them. That train ride was the beginning of many things, of courage, of endurance, and of a lifelong search for belonging. In Stamps, Maya's grandmother, whom she called Mama, raised them with care and discipline. Mama was strong and wise. She ran a small general store and followed routines with great seriousness. Maya's world was quiet. She watched, listened, and learned. Books quickly became her friends. She read everything she could: stories, poetry, classic literature, anything that opened a window to another world. Her brother Bailey was her closest companion. He gave her the nickname Maya, short for my or my sister. The name stuck, and so did their deep bond. Maya admired Bailey's confidence, his cleverness, and his ability to make her laugh when things felt heavy. Though their days were simple, they weren't always easy. At that time, many people were still treated unfairly based on their background, especially in small towns like Stamps. Maya noticed these things, not always through direct words, but through actions, glances, and silence. She understood early that the world was not always kind, and that being quiet could sometimes feel safer. At the age of 7, Maya was sent back to her mother in St. Louis. There she entered a very different world, one with music, laughter, city streets, and bright lights. But life took an unexpected and painful turn during this time. She experienced a moment of deep emotional hurt, something that left her feeling confused and lost. In the aftermath of that experience, something tragic happened to the person involved. Though Maya was not responsible, she believed her words had caused harm. And so she stopped speaking, not out of stubbornness, but out of fear and sadness. For the next 5 years, Maya remained almost completely silent. She spoke only to her brother Bailey, and even then only in whispers. Teachers tried to reach her, family members worried, but Maya had locked her voice away. She later said she believed her words could cause pain, so it felt safer to say nothing at all. Though Maya stopped speaking aloud, her inner world grew louder. She spent hours in libraries. She read books by William Shakespeare, Charles Dickens, Black poets like Paul Laurence Dunbar, and writers from around the world. She began to write in her mind, forming sentences, paragraphs, entire stories, though no one could hear them. She listened to people carefully, noticing tone, rhythm, and unspoken feelings. While her mouth was quiet, her soul was busy creating. It was during these silent years that Maya developed the foundation of her future voice, deep, thoughtful, and full of meaning. She had not disappeared. She was only becoming. Maya eventually returned to Arkansas, then moved again with her mother to California. During her teenage years, a teacher named Mrs. Bertha Flowers entered her life. Mrs. Flowers was elegant, soft-spoken, and kind. She gave Maya a book of poetry and gently encouraged her to read it aloud. At first, Maya refused, but Mrs. Flowers continued to guide her, not with force, but with trust. She told Maya something that would stay with her forever. You do not truly love poetry until you speak it. One day, quietly, Maya began to speak again. A single line, then another, then a full poem. It wasn't just about talking, it was about choosing to live again. She was finding her voice, not just in sound, but in spirit. As a teenager, Maya worked many jobs to support herself. She became the first black female streetcar conductor in San Francisco at just 15 years old. At 17, she gave birth to a son. Becoming a young mother brought its own challenges, but Maya was determined to give him a better life. She worked as a waitress, a cook, a dancer, a singer. She moved through different cities and different worlds, always observing, always growing. She never gave up. She never lost her love for learning. And though life was not always smooth, she kept moving forward. She began to perform in plays. She sang in nightclubs. She traveled to other countries, where she learned new languages and connected with new cultures. Each place, each moment, added another layer to the woman she was becoming. Maya Angelou's early life was filled with challenges, moving from home to home, facing moments of sadness, and living through years of quiet. But in that silence, something powerful grew, a mind filled with ideas, a heart full of hope, and a voice ready to change the world. This is not the story of someone broken. It is the story of someone becoming. Someone who chose not to be defined by what happened to her, but by how she chose to rise. As you learn English through her story, know that you are not only learning grammar and vocabulary, you are learning the language of strength, resilience, and the quiet power of hope. Maya's voice would one day echo across nations, but first she had to find it, word by word, page by page, quietly, courageously. As Maya Angelou stepped into adulthood, her life began to blossom in many directions. The world was going through great change. Voices were rising in the streets, calling for fairness, kindness, and equal opportunity. Maya was no longer a silent observer. She had grown into someone whose voice could bring calm and courage, not through shouting, but through wisdom, rhythm, and compassion. She started writing more often. She performed in plays and musicals. She spoke on stages, not just as an artist, but as a voice of care and consciousness. Her calm strength reached across generations. While others argued loudly, Maya taught with gentle strength, helping people remember that change could come through grace, honesty, and shared humanity. In 1969, Maya wrote and published a book that would change her life and touch the lives of millions. It was called I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. This memoir, a story of her childhood, her growth, and her quiet strength, opened hearts around the world. Maya wrote about her life with care and dignity. She didn't hide pain, but she also didn't let pain define her. The book was powerful, poetic, and full of hope. Some readers felt uncomfortable with its honesty, but many more were inspired by its beauty and courage. Teachers began including the book in their classrooms. Readers of all ages found strength in Maya's words. She had done something rare. She turned her life story into a light that helped others find their own way forward. After the success of her memoir, Maya became a speaker, admired not only for what she said, but how she said it. Her voice was steady, elegant, and thoughtful. She was invited to speak around the world, at schools, universities, conferences, and celebrations. She wasn't just a writer now. She was a global teacher, guiding others toward courage and self-expression. She once said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And indeed, people remembered how Maya made them feel, seen, heard, and understood. She inspired both young people and older generations. She gave dignity to experiences that had long been hidden in silence. Maya continued writing, poetry, essays, and more autobiographies. But she also lived a creative life beyond the page. She sang, she danced, she acted in films and stage plays. She taught at colleges and helped guide young writers. She worked in Ghana and Egypt, supporting international communities. She learned new languages and built friendships across cultures. Everything she did carried a single theme: connection. Whether through music, poetry, or conversation, Maya built bridges between people, generations, and nations. She helped others believe in their worth. She reminded everyone that our stories matter, no matter where they begin. In 1993, Maya Angelou was invited to speak at a deeply important event, the inauguration of U.S. President Bill Clinton. She wrote and recited a poem called "On the Pulse of Morning." Standing before millions, in person and on screens, she delivered a message of unity, kindness, and shared future. Her voice was strong, peaceful, and filled with history. She reminded people of the value of listening, growing, and moving forward together. It was a proud moment, not just for Maya, but for every person who had ever felt quiet, overlooked, or unheard. She stood there as a symbol of grace and strength. And in that moment, the little girl from Stamps, Arkansas, became a voice for the entire nation. As she grew older, Maya continued to teach, not only in classrooms, but through her daily example. She shared her home with friends. She cooked delicious meals. She laughed often. She listened deeply. Her wisdom wasn't just in books. It was in the way she lived. She encouraged young people to speak with purpose. She reminded artists to be true to their vision. She believed that everyone had something to offer, and she treated people with care and respect. In 2011, Maya received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States. President Barack Obama praised her not only for her writing, but for the kindness and strength she brought to the world. It was a moment of gratitude for all she had given through her words, her heart, and her voice. In her final years, Maya slowed down physically, but her voice never faded. She continued writing, speaking, and inspiring. She welcomed others with warmth. She lived with intention and grace. On May 28, 2014, Maya Angelou passed away peacefully in her home at the age of 86. The world shared a moment of silence, not of sadness, but of honor. Her voice didn't disappear. It simply became part of the world's memory, present in books, poems, speeches, and in the hearts of all who learned from her. Maya Angelou's story teaches us something truly special: that words can heal, that silence can be transformed, that kindness is a strength, and sharing our story is a gift. She showed us that a soft voice can carry deep power, that respect, understanding, and love are languages spoken across the world. As you continue learning English, let Maya's life remind you. You are not just learning new words. You are learning how to share your truth, how to listen with care, and how to honor the quiet strength within you. Like Maya once wrote in her most beloved poem, "Still I rise." So rise, speak kindly, learn gently, and remember, your voice, like Maya's, can become a light for others. If you like to listen and learn English more about stories, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Please like and share with your friends who are trying to improve their English knowledge.